All right. Useful? Okay. Again, the goal is not to ask all 20 because you wouldn't have time to do anything else, right? But hopefully there's 1, 2, maybe 3 of those questions. You start thinking about that, get your teammates involved. Hey, how can we acknowledge the team today to raise their inner work life? Or what can I share with the team that's going on to help them stay in the loop? Or how can I provide more opportunities for the team to get together outside of the grind of the daily work we have to do? And you'll see it can make a marked difference. Okay? So we have progress, we have purpose. The final P is passion. Passion. Okay? Oh, wait a second. That wasn't supposed to happen. I can't put anything past this girl. Not that passion. This passion. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. Right? Some jobs come, it's a little easier to make the connection. Right? Some are a little more difficult. But I believe, Colin Powell once told a story when he was a young guy, one of his first jobs when he was a teenager was to clean bathrooms. And he said, darn it, if I'm going to clean bathrooms at this point in my life, I'm going to be the best darn bathroom cleaner I can. I'm going to make that place shine. And he got noticed, and that started him. Someone said, boy, you clean bathrooms pretty well. And that started him on his journey, right? It doesn't matter what you do. You're in HR, you deal with benefits or vacation policy, it doesn't matter. If you don't have a sense of, not like being on a roller coaster, but just like you enjoy what you do. You enjoy the people you work with. You enjoy the world of human resources and the value it brings to the organization. If you don't have that, then I challenge you to reflect on that a little bit. Okay? Tony Schwartz and Christian Porath said, demand for our time is draining us of the energy we need to bring our skill and talent fully to life. The rise of digital technology is exposing us to an unprecedented flood of information and requests that we feel compelled to read and respond to at all hours of the day or night. Can I get a hallelujah? Ain't that the truth, right? I was upstairs watching Eric, and you know what I saw? I was standing in the back, and there was maybe a dozen people standing around me. You know what they were all doing? I saw this. Eric was giving an impassioned talk, and I saw this. It was brutal. I asked, are you interfacing more with screens or with people? That's an important question. Okay? Not passionate. Not passionate. Human connection, passionate. Sharing of ideas, passionate. Exploring possibility, passionate. Okay? The latest tweet or, text, not passionate. What would make our employees feel more energized, better taken care of, more focused, and more inspired? Want to know the answer? How many of you want to know the answer? There was some research done by Harvard Business Review, and they looked at 4 components: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. Here's what they found. Physical renewal. Guess what? Break every 90 minutes. They found that in organizations where employees were allowed to take breaks every 90 minutes or so, 30% higher level of focus, 50% greater capacity to think creatively, 46% higher level of health and well-being, 100% increase in retention in cultures where people were encouraged to take breaks. Doesn't that fly in the face of, yeah, right? Think about that. That's physical. Emotional, feeling cared about. When people reported having supportive supervisors, they were 1.3 times as likely to stay and 67% more engaged than their peers that reported that their supervisor didn't give a darn. Okay? Guess what? Take note. Feeling cared for by one's supervisor had a more significant impact on people's sense of trust and safety than any other behavior by a leader. Mental, focus, ability to prioritize. When people were allowed to focus By the way, multitasking is a myth. You know that, right? What you're just doing is, the neuroscience proves this, you're just flipping back and forth between multiple priorities and probably doing them all badly, okay? We're all guilty of it. When people were allowed to step back, sharpen the saw, right? Stop cutting the darn tree for 10 minutes, step back and sharpen the saw, 50% more engaged when they were able to focus on one task at a time, right? Just let me focus on one thing at a time, please. Maybe I'll actually get something done. And finally, spiritual, meaning and significance. When people, there's that sense of purpose again, when people felt they were being driven by a palpable, compelling sense of purpose, they were 3 times as likely to stay, 1.7 times higher job satisfaction, 1.4 times more engaged. This was the highest single impact of any variable in the research. The connection between having a sense of purpose and retention. So, as we start to bring it to a close, let me bring it into more of an area that is a little bit on the musical side, right? So when I say, I like to bring things back, to a musical metaphor, if you will. Relish the spaces between. What does that mean? Talking about breaks, right? Relish the spaces between the notes. How do you interpret that?
Enjoy the pauses and the moments where things are just breathing, where you get
Great metaphor. Just let things breathe sometimes, right? Aren't our work lives like this? Right? Can you do your best work when you hear anybody doing their best work? No. What if I went? Right? A little better, right? Yeah. Find that, I know we all live super duper busy lives, for gosh sake, but find the time to relish the spaces between the notes. Whatever that means for you. Maybe take a break, go meet with a colleague, take a walk. The research shows that if you do that, you'll actually be what? More productive. So tell your boss, why are you working? Why are you walking around? Say, well, this guy told me about this study. See how that goes, right? Listen, listen, listen. I know it's a cliche, but boy, we are victims of continuous partial attention. Continuous partial attention, right? It's like that squirrel thing, right? Squirrel. Either of you. Yeah, come on. What's your name?
Carla.
Carla, everybody. Carla and I are going to engage in a 1-minute listening exercise. Are you ready? Hey, she's pretty good. All right. What was that like for you to engage in that
It was
exercise?
interesting because my logical brain was like, oh God, I don't even know what this is. I can't even read notes. How am I going to do this? And then I just let go and I let it flow. And I'm like, okay, my hands are doing things that I don't even know what to do.
What am I doing up here? Is she a good listener?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? She adapted, she modified, she recalibrated based on what I was doing. Was that how did that feel in terms of being engaged in that dynamic that we so rarely have an opportunity to enjoy?
It was the connection.
Yeah, did you feel that? Yeah, I felt that too. Let's give her a round of applause. Yeah. I once had a client say to me, the best boss I ever had did something very interesting. Whenever I would knock on her cube, she would physically turn away from her computer, her phone, and make me the sole object of her attention. Best boss I ever had. I said, wow, that's pretty cool. When did you have this boss? Oh, 20 years ago. Can you imagine? 20 years later, he remembered that gesture of simply turning away from the phone, from the email, from the texting, and when she had a live human being in her presence, what did she do? 100% focus. Listen. Critical. Play one melody at a time and make it beautiful, right? Goes back to that mental focus. Tell your bosses, for gosh sake, give me some time to get something done here, will you? Tell your people, instead of doing 10 things poorly, try to find the opportunity to play one thing at a time and make it great. Now, I know that's hard to do with so many lesson resources and so forth. But you're a creative bunch. See how you can make that part of your culture. Okay? Give people the time and the space to play one melody at a time and do it well. And finally, play something that matters. Play something that matters. You have an opportunity every day in HR to do something that really matters. I would, a few years ago there was an article called Why We Hate HR. You ever seen that article? Look what I'm asking. I've never seen it. You know what I think of that article? HR folks, man, you are in a prime position to rock it at your jobs. Not R-O-C-K-E-T. Rock it, okay? You are in touch with the people there. You are the heart and nerve center of your organization. You make a difference, okay? Miles Davis, the famous trumpeter, he once heard a guy playing, and Miles turned to the guy next to him and said, "Cat ain't saying nothing." You ever heard Miles Davis talk? He had a real gravelly voice, right? A lot of notes, not saying anything. Didn't make a difference. Big jumble of nonsense. Okay? So I encourage you to go out there and make a difference in your organizations. The world dearly needs folks like you that care. Okay? So there you go. Purpose, progress, and passion. My challenge to you is to now go out and think about how can you incorporate these concepts into the work that you do. I guarantee they will make a difference. Do one thing. One thing. Because if this can go viral, let's make the 3 Ps go viral in our organizations and watch the magic that happens. I guarantee it. Ladies and gentlemen, you rock. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed it, got a little something out of it. By the way, I would be delighted to have a conversation with you over coffee or lunch to see what's happening in your world. And if you want to drop your business card in the bowl over there, I'll send you more copies of the Progress Principle. I will send you the purpose exercise that you can do for your team. And I'll send you some other goodies, and I promise I won't spam you to do any of that stuff, okay? Now, Kim, did you want to say a few words?
I just wanted to wrap everything up and say thank you. This was a great session. And on behalf of the PSHRM organization, we want to, we've made a $500 donation to the foundation on your